What's going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video and something I haven't done for a while, and that is what will their stats be in ESports Boxing Club. This is something that I really enjoyed doing back in the day and I haven't done for quite a while. I've done Roy Jones Jr., Canelo, Wilder, Fury, Shakur, Crawford and Muhammad Ali, as well as Lomachenko, sorry. And I thought, you know what, with kind of the ESBC hype kind of quiet, I thought, you know what, I really enjoyed these. These always started a good conversation in the comments. We really got down into talking about the fight of, how these fighters would perform against, past era, future era, whatever it may be. And I really miss making these videos. They take a lot of work, so if you guys do enjoy it, make sure you drop a like, subscribe down below as well. Let me know who you want to see next. And for this video, guys, we're going to be doing Oleksandr Usyk. I'm thinking in the future, over the next 5 videos, we're going to do Bivol, Plant, Sugar Ray Leonard, Amir Khan, and Kalazagi. But let me know who you guys want to see in the comments down below. Now remember, guys, everybody has different opinions here. I try to remove any fanboy bias for these fighters and often side on being more negative as to not overrate any one fighter. Also, I don't believe in scaling down for weight. I believe in the 1 to 100 scale for every weight class. And if a fighter is in multiple, then you scale them appropriately. But for now, we focus on their prime weight classes. For example, Wilder would have a 95 to 100 KO power. However, Inui, in his respective weight class, he would also have a 95 to 100 KO power. That's the way I do it. Just remember, I'm just one man. You guys are sometimes between 1,000 and 3,000 people. So, of course, we all have varied opinions. Without further ado, guys, let's get into what I believe Oleksandr's stats will be. All fairly familiar with this screen. We got it in the old July gameplay where we got to see the character stats. And there is 6 sections there. Vitality, stamina, speed, defense, strength, and heart. We can also see there is a variety of subsections amongst all of them. And I will rate all of them, then I will find the overall for each section, then I will find the total overall that we have given Usyk. I do not pre-plan these videos, I just go with the flow. I've watched a lot of content on all these fighters before I do them. I go through their box rec, all the fighters they've fought, and I just give my opinion live to you guys. So sometimes I will change on and off throughout the video, but without further ado, guys, let's just jump into it. So of course, Oleksandr Usyk right now is the IBO, WBA, IBF and WBO heavyweight champion of the world, as well as the former unified cruiserweight champion of the world. Arguably one of the pound for pound kings, if not some people's pound for pound #1 on the planet. Let's start with vitality. And in vitality, we have head health, body health, health regen, health recovery, and injury resistance. So let's start with head health. Now, we all knew that when Oleksandr Usyk went up to the heavyweight division, people were starting to question how he'll be able to take a punch. Oh, there's no chance he'll be able to take a punch. There's no way. Then he fought Derek Chisora. Then he fought AJ. And we saw that he was able to take some whacks. He definitely can. He's got that health. He doesn't really seem to get hurt. Like, even in his cruiserweight wars where he was taking a good amount of shots, close fights against, like, Breedis, that was a close fight. And he was taking some shots in that one. I believe that was a split decision victory. But still, or majority decision, sorry. Still, that was a close fight, and he takes these shots. Some fighters he absolutely batters. Some fighters he does take. For example, the Bellew fight, he was losing those starting rounds. The AJ fight, he lost maybe 1 or 2 of the middle rounds. So his head health, we're gonna have to put that high. He's going to be one of the top-rated heavyweights and cruiserweights. For now, we're going to focus on the heavyweight where he's at right now. So for head health, I think I'm just going to have to stick that high right off the bounce with a solid 96. When we go to body health, I mean, have we seen anybody really brutalize the body of him? Maybe, but he just takes the shots. So I think for body health, we're going to have to go over 95 as well. And then for overall health, I think I'm going to go for a 96. Because, we've got 95 and 96. Let's just go for that overall health of a 96. Now we have health regen. Now regen is quite the video game stat, as I always say in these videos. Now for me, I always like to say that fighters that have been hurt and dropped are easier to do these stats for because we see how they recover. Now, is Usyk just a freak of nature and doesn't get hurt? Is he very good at hiding it? That's always a challenge, and it really is a challenge when it comes to a fighter like this. However, we then have to consider how would he act if he was dropped. Let's say the rematch versus AJ, AJ cracks him with a right hook and drops him and stumbles him bad. Is he going to be fine between rounds? Me personally, I believe he will be. I believe that's just the way. I believe he'd get up, he'd be fine. So I think for stats like regen and recovery, for regen I'm going to give it a 93. And I think for recovery, how would he recover between rounds? So regen is how his health bar would regenerate between those rounds, and recovery is how does his health recover in the short term. That's the way I see it, and I believe it would recover well. So I'm going to stick that at a 94. And then we have injury resistance. Now, I always go off this of how often do we hear that the fighter has been hurt in the fight. Don't hear it often with Usyk. We don't hear him saying, I broke my hand in that fight, or I tore a muscle, or anything like that. Being at 35 years of age, we don't hear much of that, really. How often does Usyk pull out of a fight? You know what I mean? He seems to be some kind of Terminator. So I think for injury resistance in terms of... Now, I don't know how this would matter in a fight, in terms of the video game fight, like injury resistance to the body, because there is other stats for that, you know, body resistance, chin resistance, stuff like that. So I think we're going to have to put the injury resistance pretty high, and I'm going to stick it at about a 92. And then we go on to stamina, which consists of stamina, stamina regen, stamina recovery, conditioning, and endurance. Now, we know that he can go the distance, and he looks like he can go the distance twice. Honestly, for stamina, I'm going to go really, really high here, and even though I'm going to try and be negative and push these fighters overalls lower than they maybe should be, Usyk doesn't seem like he's tired. I thought he was tiring in the AJ fight in the mid-rounds, but all it seemed like he was doing was just relaxing, put his foot on the brake a little bit, and then he just picked up and went off. So for stamina, I'm going to go with 97. He comes out like a bat out of hell for each round. Regen and recovery for both of these are going to have to be high, and I'm just going to put them both at a 95, guys. I am. I'm just going to have to stick them both at 95. I think that's the only thing that makes sense for me. And then we've got conditioning and endurance. Yet again, he is a freak. He doesn't know any different than being a conditioned He's an animal. Honestly, he's the one athlete that blows me away. Him and Naranui are some of the only athletes that really shock me in the way they fight. Like, Usyk is just resilient all the time. He is unbelievable. Honestly, he shocks me, and his conditioning is insane. So for his conditioning, I'm going to be cruel. You guys may not agree with this, but I'm going to put his conditioning at 95, and I'm going to put his endurance... I mean, this is probably one of the toughest videos I've made in terms of this kind of series. His endurance, I'm going to be cruel as well, and I'm going to put it at 93. I prefer to underrate than overrate, if I'm honest, guys. That's the way I see things. I prefer to underrate these fighters than overrate them. Now we move on to speed, which consists of agility, move speed, punch speed, and accuracy. Now he is an agile guy. He doesn't move like a heavyweight, let's be honest. It's not like he moves like a lightweight, but he moves very well. For agility, this is where I'm going to be cruel, and I'm going to put agility at a 90. Because agility is always a tough stat in boxing. You know, you're not exactly doing backflips. He is very agile in the ring. He doesn't look like he's stuck in the mud. So maybe 90 is a bit cruel, but that's what I'm going to go with. Move speed, I mean, AJ had the bigger reach, but Usyk was able to be on his feet and be in and out before AJ could put off a punch. So move speed is going to have to be a 95. That may even be being somewhat cruel. Some of you guys may even consider a move speed at a 98, and that would be totally fair. But for me, I'm going to go with a 95. Punch speed, his punches come off quick. His combinations come off quick. His jab is quick. He's accurate as well. He's just insane. He's absolutely insane. So for punch speed, I think I'm going to be cruel again, and I'm going to go with a 94 for punch speed. I'm going to say that in terms of his... You know what? Punch speed? This is a tough one, guys. This really is. You know what? I'm going to be really cruel. I'm going to go with a 92 for punch speed. I know, guys. I know it's cruel, but it is what it is. Accuracy. There's a reason he can outpoint people so well, and his shots make such a difference in the fight, because he is very accurate. As always, I say that most boxers land between 40 to 60% of their punches per fight. We cannot rule that as accuracy, because a lot of the times it's off the block, which, you know, you could consider accurate because they are hitting them in the face area. So for accuracy, for Usyk, is this cruel? If we put it at a 90, would you guys disagree? 91. 91. You guys may disagree. Like I said, I always prefer to underrate than overrate. Now, defense. Defense is a fun one. We have chin resistance, body resistance, cut resistance, bruise resistance, and blocking. Now, of course, vitality, where we had head health and body health, that's that overall health. Now, we have here, what is the resistance to him being knocked out? His chin is clearly tough. Clearly tough. From I know he's not fought a lot of heavyweights, but he's fought Chisora, who's got a massive whack on him. AJ, who had a massive KO spree. Bellew was hitting him with some good shots. Tony Bellew was arguably doing better than AJ did, without a doubt. And, Bellew was hitting with some good shots. I'm not saying Bellew was the hardest hitter in the world, but he was hitting him with some good shots. But we have seen even in the cruiserweight competitions, Usyk has had his chin tested. He's got good resistance. So I'm going to go with a 97. I think he'd be hard to knock out. I think anyone would have a hard time. Even if he stands still, I think you'd have a hard time knocking him out. Body resistance, again, it's a tough one to call, so I'm going to go over 95 for body resistance. I don't see him being the type of guy that takes a body shot and just crumbling like that. He is one of the best boxers on the planet right now. Some people would argue that he is the best boxer on the planet. So you cannot just say, oh, well, if he takes a body punch, he may go down. So far, no one's found a weakness. And I can't imagine that in his 19 professional fights, no one has thought, I'll attack his body. They probably have, and it's probably just been nothing. He doesn't seem to care, and it's probably quite demoralizing for people. Then we have cut resistance. Now, he has been cut before, but we can't rule that down to like a 70 because he's been cut once before. He's had various competitions, tough fights, hard hitters. AJ cut him above the right eyebrow, but, we can't rule that down, like I said, to a 70 just for that. So for me, I'm going to be really cruel here, and I know you guys are going to be like, this is disgraceful. But for me, for the cut resistance, based on that one cut, and I know it's like, really bad, because, anyone can get cut at any point. But I'm going to go, I know this is going to hurt some of you guys, I'm going to go with an 80, just an 80, guys. I'm just going to go with an 80. I'm kidding, of course I'm kidding. I'm going to go with an 89. Now, I know that's really cruel as well. I know that's really cruel. Honestly, if I didn't want to be cruel, I'd probably go with a 92, but I'm going to go with an 89. Now, bruise resistance, this is a tough one, guys. This is a tough one because everybody gets bruised. And most of the time it shows up after the fights. You get a fight like Devin Haney, he gets a bruise, but he can out-jab someone all night long. It comes with one punch, bruise. So I don't rule that. I've never seen Usyk with a swollen fat eye, massive bruised face. Like, AJ bruised him a bit. But even that, I'm not going to rule that as like massive bruising. So I'm going to go for a 93 for the bruise resistance. Now we go on to blocking. Now this is an interesting one because for me, I often find a lot of fighters use movement over their block. Now you put Usyk in a corner, he puts his guard up. How well is he going to block? Very well. We saw in the AJ fight, even when AJ was landing some good shots and Usyk needed to block, he wasn't phased. He was calm. AJ was landing some shots on him. Same as Bellew, same as Chisora. Same as his cruiserweight bout. Of course, there was fights where he was getting, through the block. People were getting through the block and hurting him. But, he just, it's just it's what happens in boxing. So for his block, I don't think it's impenetrable. I think sometimes he values movement over his blocking more. So I'm going to go over 90 for that. And I do believe that in the defense section, there should be some kind of head movement. I know that in speed, there is move speed that we have at a 95. But I do believe there should be some kind of weave thing here for defense because his head movement is insane. Anyways, we go on to strength, and we have left hand power, right hand power, jab, hook, uppercut, and straight modifiers, followed by KO power. Now, this is where we really look at the stats of who he's fought and who he's knocked out. 19-0 with 13 finishes. In my opinion, he could have finished AJ in the final 10 seconds of that 12th round. He really could have. AJ was on wobbly legs, but he chose not to, in my opinion. That's the way I saw it, I'm not going to lie. Tony Bellew, he knocked out absolutely cold. Like, that was kind of, like, painful to watch. His record is freaky anyways, but he's stopped a good amount of people. More often than not, other than his earlier fights, he stops them later in the round. Later in the fight, which shows me it's not power, it's pressure. Now, he's a southpaw, so you could argue that left hand will be more powerful. So for the left hand power, I'm going to go with a 90. For his right hand power, for me, I honestly don't see a difference in his power between his hands. So I'm going to go for a 90 as well. Move on to the modifiers. And for me, these are jab, hook, and these modifiers are modifiers for power. So obviously it's in strength. So we go from a jab, we hold the modifier, and we go power jab, as you guys know from pretty much every boxing game. Usyk doesn't have that. Other than the Bellew fight, I would argue, he doesn't have a thing where he absolutely bodies people in one punch like they've not been down before. Bellew was like that. That was how the Bellew fight went. It was just out, and that was him done. So for his jab modifier, like, how much is it? Did Usyk use a power jab? How much is that going to hurt someone? Given his size, it's going to hurt. But compared to other heavyweights, I'm going to put his jab modifier in 85. I'm going to put his hook modifier. Now, his hooks are good. He has good hooks, he has dropped people, he has knocked a good amount of people out, but like I said, you guys may disagree here, but I feel like his knockouts are based on the pressure and the power, as opposed to just the God-given power, if you guys follow my kind of train of thought there. So for his hook modifier, I'm going to go with an 89. Uppercut modifier, I'm going to go with an 88. And for his straight modifier, I'm going to go with an 87. Now, you guys may disagree on all of those, and I completely understand. It's very subjective when it comes to this, because this is individual punch for punch stat, power for power, blow for blow kind of stats. This is a tough one to call. But then we go on to knockout power. Now, like I said, you try to land one punch of Usyk, he probably doesn't knock out a heavyweight, in my opinion. He doesn't just land one punch and knock them out. That's why his... What? There's a plane going over me. That was a nice one. That's why his movement speed, his punch speed is so impressive, because he knows that the pressure is the way to win these fights. You hurt the heavyweights by breaking them down bit by bit, by blow by blow. So for me, for his knockout power through and through, I'm going to give it an 85. I know you guys may disagree with that, but I really do believe it is just based on his pure pressure, his God-given pressure. And then we go on to heart. This is the easiest one to do. This consists of discipline, courage, and confidence. He is equal to the most disciplined, the most courage-based fighter going. So it's absolutely easy to rule it for Usyk, for all three of these being 99 or 100. I think normally with these videos I do 99. I don't think I normally do 100, but I think I'm going to stick with the 99 system for now. The 99 system seemed to work well when I made these videos. So we're going to stick with 99 for all three: discipline, courage, and confidence. Now what I'm going to do, guys, I'm going to find the averages for each one of these: vitality, stamina, speed, defense, strength, and heart. Then I'm going to find the total overall for what we have given Oleksandr Usyk this video. Alright guys, I've just done some fun math, because I actually enjoy doing that kind of stuff. And we have the overalls for each of the stats, followed by the total overall for Oleksandr Usyk. For vitality, we have a 94. For stamina, we have a 95. For speed, we have a 92. For defense, we have a 93. For strength, we have an 88. That one's kind of tough. I don't know if I really agree with myself there. I think I may have to disagree with myself. And for heart, of course, we have a 99. And all of those together, guys, of course, I round up to the nearest number, obviously, because that's just the way you should do things. We have a total overall for Oleksandr Usyk, which I believe he is now the highest rated fighter I have done so far, at a 94 overall. Now, I think that's completely fair. I think being 94 and above is like freakish, and I think that's a pretty fair stat line that I have given him. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Do you disagree? Do you agree? Oftentimes I find people will agree with the total overall, but they will disagree with some of the stats being higher or lower within the video. So let me know in the comments down below what you think. And yeah, man, I mean, Usyk being the highest rated heavyweight in the game, I wouldn't have an issue with that. Him and Fury being even, I wouldn't have an issue with that. But Usyk's at least got to be top 2 rated in the game easily. Even compared to the legends, I think we have to rank him pretty bloody high. But let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Thank you as always for watching. I hope you guys have enjoyed. Don't forget to drop a like, subscribe, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Peace.